Okay, we're recording now. This is week 8, isn't it? And this is an example of work 1 done by a student last year. Only showing you this just for the recording. Only showing you this as an example of a good format. So, clean page, front page. You could put a logo on there, a Napier logo, but don't put much else on it. Don't start putting photographs on the front page. It looks a bit tacky sometimes. Keep it clean. You do want to put your matriculation number and your name on there. Maybe your email address, maybe not your email, just matriculation number and name. And it would also be nice to have the name of the module on the front page. So that's how you can improve upon that. Contents page. It's not necessary, but for this, it's actually quite useful. Put the contents page on. And then, you know the format that I gave you before? I gave you the framework. It's quite simple. You're sitting there smiling going, I've done exactly this so far. Remember, what you'll only get to see here is you'll get to see where your marks are for, again, go back to presentation, readability, technical content. So we're not going to see much of that in this example. Figures and tables you'll see, and conclusions you won't really get to see here. So just be mindful of that. So we can see it's nice and easy to read. Test pieces, it describes them. There's a nice table. I've given you a start for that on the Excel. You've got your sample number and the moisture content, how it was calculated. There's the code there, nicely referenced. That actually is not a figure, that is actually a table. So that should have been table number 2. But this person called it figure 1, figure 2. There's the equation for the moisture content that comes from that code there. Really straightforward, nothing too difficult. Okay? And they've talked about, now remember this, last year they had used sycamore as a species of wood. Sycamore is a hardwood, and it's quite a nice hardwood, but it does behave differently from how yours behaved. So the graphs of them didn't do what I would normally expect to see. And to be fair, neither did yours. I expected yours to have ultimate limits. I expected yours to have fall off a cliff, but they didn't actually. Then variability and strength was talked about. This standard deviation calculated, used, and then there's a nice graph there showing all three together. There'll be some conclusions. So that is a nice bibliography. You need to do stuff like that. That's using things like Mendeley or ENU. EndNote. EndNote's quite good. You've seen EndNote or Mendeley before? Hands up if you have not seen Mendeley or EndNote before. Good, right, I'll show you that later on today then, when we go in to do the Excel tutorials. So that is a good example of what I would consider 100%. Okay? It's not hard, it's not difficult, it's not actually that difficult. I'm glad to see some smiling faces here. That means you're quite confident that you've done well. Is this not charging? What is? Get a bit brighter. Right, excellent. So let's go to the middle then. The middle page, what I've done for you, I've put on additional material. I won't give you this. Well, I won't give you the solutions just now. Go away and try these, and I'll give you the solutions later on. Only 2 people submitted the last time I gave you work to hand in, so it sounds like to me you just want the answers at some point. So we'll chat about it next week. You can tell me how many people have done these two, and if you want just the answers, if you want me to give you individual feedback, we can discuss that. Because last time I asked you, only 2 people submitted, so we'll see. And I've then got additional material for other content as well. Right, let's go for today then. Timber part 1. Whilst we're there, whilst it's downloading, we've also got a video here done by my PhD student. It's a fantastic video. I highly recommend you watch it because it will help you. I'm going to change the last. Because we've been really fortunate, I'm quite delighted. Tell me this is definitely a recording. Yes, good. I'm really quite delighted that we've managed to get the 3 labs all from the same piece of wood, the same species of wood. Because that means we can do something a wee bit extra over and above what we've done in years gone past. Be able to say with a bit more clarity on the grade of wood. Talked about grade of wood before, haven't we? BSE EN338, haven't we? I've shown you the document. I've actually given you the document. Well, what my colleague here, for a 5-minute video,
wood and
we'll not
plants
watch it now. She explains wood grading, actually with plums.
You never know what they taste like before you try.
It's quite comical. It's quite funny. And it's trying to explain something that's quite difficult to understand. You've already been taught it. You've been taught about when you batch grade, you grade a whole bunch of material. It's not as easy as you test one piece of wood. Is that C16 or is it C24? You test the next one, C16, C24. You already know it's not like that. You have to grade the whole batch of wood. Then that whole batch of wood has got a grade. It's either a pass or fail. So the individual sticks of wood might fail that, can get chopped out of the bundle, taken aside, but as a batch they get graded and individually they're stamped on as well. You already know that. Versus explaining that in a bit more detail, but in a very simplistic way, which I think is fantastic. And an awful lot of people don't understand the nuance of that. So my recommendation is watch that video. Let's see if I've got a little. I have indeed. Let's see if it works this week. Oh, good. Pardon me. There we are. Are you loading? Size is not that big. That's worrying. Why were you last night? Right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just for the computer sanity, I'm going to stop the recording here.